So, the Apes trilogy. How many of you guys have actually heard of that? More specifically, what were you guys expecting would come of this when it first started in 2011? Now to explain all this, let's go back to the 1960s. And there was a film that came out called The Planet of the Apes by Charlton Heston. He starred in that film. It's basically about a bunch of apes who rise up from next to a serum that was created, and they start to take over the world. And not only did that film feature one of the best endings in all of Hollywood cinema, but also had one of the most iconic lines ever, which you can read right here. However, despite the significance of that film, it wasn't a film that exactly caught on. There was some sequel films, but they didn't really catch on that well. And then came 2001 with Tim Burton's remake. Suffice it to say, no. People didn't like it. They didn't mind that Tim Burton made that film, but it just wasn't. It didn't rise up to the adaptations that made the 1960s film so iconic. If you fast forward then to the 2010s, and it's told that a remake of The Planet of the Apes was in the works, titled Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Not only will it feature Andy Serkis, fresh off his stats of Lord of the Rings, as Caesar, an ape who is taken by a human and raised as being imbued with some kind of experiment that causes apes to have human intelligence. But as he grows older, a bunch of apes, including him, start to rise up and started to get rid of the humans who kind of experimented on them. The film basically had Andy Serkis as Caesar, but also had other people in the mix, like Freida Pinto, James Franco, among others. The first film was directed by Rupert Wyatt, a director I haven't heard much of, but the first film was apparently so very well received that immediately a sequel went to work in 2014, and that film was Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Instead of Rupert Wyatt directing this film, they instead brought on Matt Reeves, who is best known for the horror remake Let Me In, which a lot of people love, but then some people just hate. And for that film, guys, I don't know what to tell you. Rise of the Planet of the Apes was so good because of its fully rich drama, its character development, and its action sequences and compelling story. But this film jacked that up past 11, and for a good reason. Not only did Andy Serkis knock it out of the park once again as Caesar, but it also had great new characters like Toby Kebbell as Koba, like he did from the first film. And not to mention that we also got, say, new human characters in the form of Jason Clarke, Kerry Russell, Cody Smith-McPhee, and even Gary Oldman of all people. And not only is the film much better received, especially for its allegory for like how humans perceive animals as animals, and how animals perceive humans as evil. Because in that film you can basically tell, like, you can kind of see like the apes is kind of like a battle between like cowboys and Indians kind of thing. That's how I basically saw the film. Not only is that film so incredibly well received, but it also made the year-end list of several people's best movies to date, and for good reason. And then we have the third film, War for the Planet of the Apes. Not only is it said to be the final film chronologically in the series, but also is bringing back Matt Reeves as director and co-screenwriter. Not to mention that we also got Andy Serkis back as Caesar, among other people who played the apes. Not to mention that it's said that the human character is going to be scaled back on a few times because a lot of people thought that the human characters were too distracting from the original film. So for this film, it seems to be scaling back on that a little. In fact, the only main human character in this film is the Colonel, played by Woody Harrelson. And apparently his Colonel is supposed to be inspired by Colonel William Kurtz from Apocalypse Now. So, that being said, I saw War for the Planet of the Apes. Does it win, for lack of a better word? Well, guys, if you can tell by the smile on my face, this film does win. It wins once, it wins twice, it wins 3 times. Not only is this by far the best Apes film in the entire trilogy, not only does Andy Serkis prove himself to be a formidable presence in Apes films and in motion capture animation as a whole, but also proves that since Lord of the Rings: Return of the King does the third film rise above to be the best in a franchise, let alone a trilogy. Yeah, it's that great. So, let's get into the positives of this film. What this film basically does so well. One of the things that that kind of holds back the first film, even the second film, from being a bit too film classic, is because there was a bit too much exposition on what was going on. Like the scenes weren't able to flow naturally and let things explain themselves slowly. But this film, Matt Reeves fixes all of that. Not only does he actually pull back on the human character significantly, some of the exposition, outside of a small opening narration, it's basically, yeah, it's scaled back, and we let the events of what goes on play out through the scenes itself. We can actually solely understand what is going on. And make no mistake, Matt Reeves' direction of this film is flawless. We've always known that this guy has a great eye for detail, and he knows how to tell a compelling story, apparently, but he also knows how to properly use the cinematography to convey that story properly. Not only are the shots very well executed, the action scenes are incredibly well shot, but he also knows to amp up the scenes with intensity, power, and even dramatic stakes all the way from beginning to end. And this film, he definitely pulls that off. Great job, Matt Reeves. And we can definitely tell that the writing definitely steps it up. Matt Reeves only covered the script, but he did like the polish, and I gotta say, I don't know what to say. Not only does he choose his words carefully, he also knows how to properly write the characters so that they're well written, they show proper emotion, and also so that Andy Serkis' character is well used, so that you can really feel for him, like you can never see him embracing, trying to get away with the darker side of himself while still trying to guide his apes to safety as the human population tries to survive. But I've said pretty, and yeah. And the rest of the ape supporting characters do provide some good relief. Like Maurice, the orangutan, that guy was very lovable. I like the human girl that they rescue. Nova is her name. She doesn't talk much in the film, but she does give a great performance, and I hope to see the girl who plays her in several different films in the future. But yeah, the biggest risk for this film, Bad Ape, played by Steve Zahn. Now Steve Zahn has good quality as an actor, but could he really pull off this film? He was a huge risk. And yeah, he does play kind of a comic relief, but this film, god darn it, he pulls it off and well. One of the biggest complaints about comic relief characters is that they always try to play themselves too funny for their own sake. They don't actually try to contribute much to the fight or just make jokes. But with Bad Ape, they fixed all of that. Not only because yeah, Bad Ape does bring a good sense of humor to the film, but to keep things from being too dreary. But he also knows enough to shut up and get involved with the action when he needs to, and he does wonders for this film. And he actually proves very crucial in helping Caesar on his journey. As for the title for the Planet War, for the Planet of the Apes, you can tell there is a war going on, but it's not exactly at the forefront throughout at all. Like, the majority of films basically Caesar going on a quest for revenge in order to avenge his kind, while still trying to survive along the way. And in fact, most of the war stuff in this film doesn't take place to the final act. And when it does, it's subversive. It doesn't happen the way you expect. Like, sure, you might sometimes get big battle action sequences, but for this film, yeah, you don't really get that. And it's kind of anticlimactic, but not in the best way. And yeah, there's one character I have to kind of about this film. Woody Harrelson as the Colonel. Now, you can never see traces of Marlon Brando's character, Colonel Kurtz, from that film in this film, in that he doesn't have much screen time. But Woody Harrelson, you definitely buy into his character, and you buy into as a villain, and you definitely buy into why he wants to save himself, and why he's as ruthless and stoic as he is. Because he desperately wants to survive, he wants his men to do so, and he's willing to fight to do whatever he can. And yeah, he may not rise above Kurtz's character in Apocalypse Now, especially how great of an actor Marlon Brando was, but he does wonders for this film, I gotta say. And yeah, for the story of this film, like I said, again, it will never rise above Lord of the Rings Return of the King, but it almost gets there. And yeah, there's not a single moment wasted, and the story knows how to encapsulate from beginning to end, and the ending of this film, nailed it. Nailed it. Nailed it. Look, guys, I'm gonna this movie's in a third movies in a trilogy that really don't really hit me as well. Like X-Men: The Last Stand, no, but there are a few films in a third movie that does it right. And this film, is one of them. Because not only does it build upon the strengths of the first two films, but it actually takes time to refine the movie's strengths, while instead of just trying to throw everything at the wall what sticks. I say this is the best third movie in a trilogy, alongside Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, and especially Captain America: Civil War. And yeah, for that reason, there's no way I can say it. War for the Planet of the Apes absolutely gets a 10. I honestly don't know which more I can say about this, guys. There's not a bad thing I can say about this film. Every beat was exactly, was perfectly paced. The trailers didn't give away really anything at all. Andy Serkis knocked out of the park once again, and there's really nothing bad I can say about this film. That's it. So thanks a lot. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching, guys. If you like what you saw, comment down below and let me know what you guys want to know. I just want to know. I'm sorry I'm a little late with these guys, so I'm still getting a few things ironed out. And plus, I am in the process of filming a special comment about the Transformers franchise. So that's why I haven't been filming my review for the last night. But yeah, hold on, wait till this will come and you'll see my entire thoughts on this series as a whole. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more. Until then, I'm Ross Butler. You're watching M&M Weekly, guys. See you next time.